morning, everyone, and welcome to you, Chief Constable, your team, to those who are joining us in person, and all those who are watching online. Just to say that if you want to leave the room, if you would do so through the back door at the left, and to remind you to turn your mic on and off when you speak. Since our last meeting, there have been a number of issues of public and media interest on which members will have questions. But as a board, we have agreed that the meeting in public today should be primarily focused on the PSNI resource plan for 23-24 and the funding pressures facing the service, and particularly the implications for service delivery in the period 23-24 and beyond. On Thursday, the 22nd of June, the Resources Committee received the PSNI's draft financial plan for the year ahead. The committee noted with concern the significant planned reductions in police officers and police staff and other cuts which are being made to reduce what was an initial deficit of 107 million to a residual gap of 38 million. The Resources Committee were not only concerned about the effect of the planned cuts for delivering an effective police service, but also concluded that closing the funding gap of 38 million placed you, Chief Constable, in an almost impossible position. Last week we published a survey on the policing plan, and whilst overall the high levels of satisfaction remained, we feel we may be beginning to see the impact of reductions in neighbourhood policing reflected in the findings of that survey. Chief Constable, your recent interview highlighted the pressures on the organisation, and the headline figures are undoubtedly stark in terms of impact on frontline resilience. As a board, we recognise that the demands of the job, the level of assaults on your officers, and the trauma witnessed in everyday duties can take its toll. I recently had the pleasure of attending recognition events in Craigavon and Belfast for officers and police staff who, in the course of their duty, demonstrated exceptional courage and commitment. As I listened to the citations for these officers and staff, I was encouraged and indeed humbled by their commitment and the professionalism which they demonstrated in the most difficult circumstances. On a happier note, I would also like to take this opportunity to congratulate all those recently honoured in the inaugural King's Birthday Honours List. And indeed, Chief Constable, congratulations to you on achieving Chartered Director status through the IOD. It's perhaps fair to say that if you're operating in private business, you'd be perhaps considering whether the organisation could be considered as a going concern, given the gap in the operating budget. To return to the financial position, we have had lengthy discussions on the implications over the past year, but the finality of the position is now with us in the plan presented, and a gap of 38 million that cannot be bridged. In recent days, we have heard from health, we have heard from education, we have heard from infrastructure on what they are going to do and what they are not going to do. Many of their decisions will also touch on the policing world and will have implications for service delivery. So today, Chief Constable, we have asked you and your team to set out the implications for policing and the choices that the organisation will make going forward. Choices that will impact now, but also in the future. Telling the policing story is not always a simple story to tell, but it nevertheless needs to be heard so that the consequences are documented and are understood. Members will then have an opportunity when you make your presentation to put their questions. So I now want to hand over to you.